Hello everyone, and welcome back to Evolving Vibes, the community for witches, pagans, spiritualists, and everybody in between. So welcome back. I'm glad to have you back. And again, I thank you for all of the subscriptions I've been getting. We're growing our community, we're growing the channel, and we're just below 800 subscribers now. So very exciting. And if you haven't done so yet, please be sure to like, subscribe, leave some comments, help grow the channel. So for today's video, what I thought I would do is revisit my altar. So we're going to do a brief altar tour. It's not going to be very long, so just stay tuned in a little bit to check out the altar. And then after we're done, we're going to come back on over to me, and I'm going to talk with you about some of my personal favorite tools that I use for magic. And so I will see you on the other side of the camera. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my altar tour. So this is basically my view from my window, where my altar actually is, for those of you that may not have seen that before. I'm going to just come on over here to the left, and you can see Coco. And this is actually where I do all of my filming for the videos. So there's my backdrop. Sorry if the lights are flickering. That's one of the things that happens sometimes during the day. However, there's Coco, there's my camera setup, and this is basically my altar. So we come in, and back over here we have our triple goddess in Hecate, and I always like to have rosemary sage around. Then we can see a little collection of things that I have in these crystal holders, and all the feathers that I collect, either from Coco or from inside of the yard. And of course, got my cauldron, my two bells that I've collected over time, and my chalice and my offering dish, and a little wooden container where I keep a lot of little doodads and little odds and ends in. And as we scan over to the right again, I've got one of my collections of tarot cards, as well as another little statue of goddess that I put together. And as we scan around, this is my primary incense burner that I use, and you may have seen this before. This is my Book of Mirrors and my day planner that I use, as well as my hagstone that I featured in one of my other videos. Along with that, this is my go-to tarot deck. I keep it over here. Whoops! But this is the Crow Tarot, which I really do enjoy. And I love the density of it, and that basically just stays right on my altar, and I use that for myself. Now, coming on over here, this guy is Theo, my crystal ball. And I do keep him covered during the day because of the sunlight. It can cause some little bit of problems, as you can imagine, with the sunlight, direct lighting, and being a wooden table and papers around. And on over here, this is my grimoire. Now, this is my very special pen that I use, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on, but he's only used for my grimoire. He's sterling silver, and he comes from Tiffany. I've had him for quite a few years now. And this is the pendulum that I got from the Light Club Curiosity Shop in New York. I love this pendulum, and I use it quite a lot at home on my altar. As we come down a little bit further, these are my ceremonial, my ritual incense that I use solely for my own purposes. I have a lot of other incense, of course, but these are very specific and very special to me, so they stay on my altar, and I use them with my altar only. This guy right here is one of my newest additions. He is Henry, and I use him quite a bit for scrying. As you can tell by the way he looks, I'm going to bring him up to the light so you can actually see how really wonderful he is in the light. But this I use quite a bit for scrying. So let's put him back down. You've seen in many videos my incense burner carved out of soapstone, and you've seen this in videos before. My manifestation box that you saw me create. Now, on top of this are all the jewelries that I carry with me throughout the day, as well as my anointing oil and my go-to pendulum. Of course, I've got selenite, and of course, I have a very specific set of scissors that I use only for my ceremonial work, as well as my altar itself. As we pan down just a bit further, we have my athame, and we have my wand, and this is my go-to dowsing rod set that I actually use at home, and I use it when I go out. So let's pan back just a bit. So this is my altar, and if you saw my video once before on my altar tour, this is how I've continuously set it up since then. It's relatively cat proof, not 100%, but it does allow me to be able to use my altar as well as the cats to use my altar without too much fuss or muss. So I hope you enjoyed this tour, and we're going to turn around the camera again and talk a little bit about my favorite Magickal Tools. And we're back to this side of the camera. So like we talked about in my altar tour, I tried to make it so that my altar was user-friendly for me, but along with that, user-friendly for my kitty cats, because it's a straight direct path, as you can see from my altar, from my table, altar, right to the window, which they love being in. So I made it so that we can both work together, and they can enjoy the altar space as well as the window, and I can use my altar without having all this cat fur and all this disruption, yada yada yada. Now that brings us to some of my favorite tools for my personal magic. So to start off with, my biggest and most important tool and my favorite tool is me, just as it should be with you. We create the magic, we create the intent, and it's our actions which put that magic and that intent and all the actions necessary into the universe for manifestation. That being said, some of my other favorite tools that I utilize in my everyday practice, first and foremost, my jewelry. My rings, my bracelets, which I don't have on right now, I use every day. They're enchanted, I wear them, they're a part of me, and they're a part of my day-to-day magic. Now, some of the other tools that I use on a regular basis, which I really love, first and foremost, I have to talk about my pen. Sterling Silver. It's just a wonderful pen I use in my grimoire. I use at home when I'm putting out any type of written intentions. And it also doubles up as my wand when I want to clear space, when I want to cast a circle. Besides my other wand, besides my athame, I use this quite frequently. Probably even more so than my wand or my athame. It's just a part of me. I've had it for over a dozen years now. It came from Tiffany back in the day, and it's just one of those things that I'd be lost without, and it would be like losing a family member if I actually lost it, because it's that close to me. Along with that pen, some other favorite tools that I have, my anointing oil. I carry this with me daily. I use it daily. I'll dab it on me, I'll dab it on my wrists, and I'll anoint very specific things with it. But it's something that cleanses, and it's something that protects, and it's something that I would be lost if I didn't have it in my pocket throughout my day. Another thing that I use quite a lot is my day-to-day pendulum. So this pendulum I carry with me. I love it, I use it, it works well with me, we communicate quite well, and so this is the pendulum that I actually use when I'm out throughout my day to ground, to cleanse, to communicate, whatever it might be. This is my go-to guy. He's carried with me along with my anointing oil. Another favorite tool that I have is another pendulum. And this one, as I said, I got from the Light Club Curiosity Shop in New York. And this pendulum I absolutely fell in love with. I use it at home. It stays on my altar. It's very, very fragile, as you can see, because it's just hollow copper. But it's amazing, and we really bonded, and it communicates so well with me. I'd be, again, lost without it at home on my pendulum, on my altar with my pendulum. One of my other day-to-days that I carry with me quite a lot, my dowsing rods. So I do carry these with me. I do use them to help clear energy. I do use them for communication. I use them probably a good dozen times or so per week, whether it be at home or whether it be out. So these guys right here are some go-to favorite objects of mine. And another favorite object that I use quite a lot for scrying is Henry. And I showed you before in my altar tour just how intricate Henry actually is. But for scrying and such, he's absolutely amazing. And you can see the fire within. It's just a stunning little piece of quartzware that I absolutely love. He feels natural to me. It was one of those things which was an instant bond when I first saw him. He called me over to the shelf. I held him, and I had to buy him that day. So those are just some of my favorite tools. Of course, I've got my grimoire. I've got my book of mirrors, my day planner. All of them I use daily, and all of them I absolutely adore. But if I were to say, what do I carry with me that I use all throughout the day? It's those objects right there. Now, let me know in a comment, what are your favorite objects? What do you use on a daily basis for your magic? I'd love to hear about it, and I'm sure other people would as well. So I do thank you for this video. It was short, and I wanted to keep it short because I just wanted to give you a basic idea of what I have in my life, what I use in my life, and what's most important to me. With the hopes that, one, you would enjoy it, and two, you'd probably want to share in a comment some of your favorites. So, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Thank you so much for growing our community to just under 800 subscribers. And I hope you like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know what you think in the videos about what you keep on you for your daily practice. And be sure, watch one of these two videos down below, because again, it's going to help grow the channel. It's going to help put us out into the YouTube universe, which is going to bring more community members on over to us. So until next time, as always, please be safe, be well, and be blessed.